Neighbors 2 Sorority Rising is the sequel to the 2014 film Neighbors, and what this movie's about is Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne are back again and they need to buy a new house because they're having another baby and they need more room. Unfortunately, their house is only put on escrow, which means the buyers are interested, but they have 30 days to pull out of the deal. However, a new sorority moves in, and Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne think, oh no, they're gonna throw parties and stuff, we need to tell them to relax for at least 30 days until the escrow is over, but the sorority decides, you know what? We're gonna be the first sorority to, throw our own parties because the Greek system doesn't enable us to, so, in your face. So another war breaks out between Seth Rogen, Rose Byrne, and college people, except this time, not only do they have to team up with that other couple that they're friends with, but they also need to team up with Zac Efron, because he's in a pretty bad place in his post-college life, and he needs something to do. Now, I wasn't really excited for Neighbors 2. The trailers were fine, I guess. It's just I didn't really see a need for a sequel. However, I learned the same director and the same writers were coming back, so that made me a little bit interested. And you know what? Neighbors 2 Sorority Rising, it's not that bad. It's actually a pretty decent comedy, and it's actually a pretty decent comedy sequel, too. We rarely get actual good comedy sequels, so I'm glad Neighbors 2 is actually pretty good. Once again, the comedy is really good. That's the thing I've come to expect now with Seth Rogen movies, is mostly they're gonna be frickin' hysterical, and Neighbors 2 is no exception. I laughed quite a bit during this film, especially Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne. They have great chemistry with each other. I think they're actually really good. Especially props to Rose Byrne because she is someone who I did not expect to be funny in the first film, but she was, and she was still funny in the second one. So props! Even the other couple who I can see some people getting annoyed with, I actually thought they were still pretty funny in this film. And Zac Efron, in my opinion, steals the show, like in the first film. Like in the first one, I didn't know what to expect with Zac Efron because I'm not the biggest fan of his. I was pretty impressed with him in the first one, and this one, once again, very good. Yes, he was in Dirty Grandpa earlier this year, but you know what? He does better here. He's beyond Dirty Grandpa now, alright? It's good now. He's good. Unless Mike and Dave sucks, then right back where he started. My glasses are not on properly. So I laughed quite a bit during this film. I had a lot of fun with Neighbors 2, and I can tell you, if you are not a fan of the first Neighbors, you probably should not see this movie because it is not going to change your mind about the first one in any way. It's pretty much the same thing, and you will probably hate this film. I should probably stress that this comedy isn't perfect. Like the first Neighbors, I gave it an A-, and I think I still stand by that grade. I put it as an honorable mention in my Best of 2014 video, even though now that I've seen more movies from 2014, it probably wouldn't be a mention at all now. I don't think Neighbors 2 is quite as good. For one thing, not all the jokes land, kind of similar with the first one, but in this one, a couple more didn't seem to hit, mainly because of the sorority. Kind of ironic that the movie all about the sorority rising, like they were gonna empower women, guys. They were honestly my least favorite part. I'm not hating on Chloe Grace Moretz. I think she's a fine actress, and this is definitely a better movie than The Fifth Wave, and I think she's better here than that. It's just, I didn't really find her character all that funny, and to be honest, the majority of the sorority really annoyed me, especially when they did one thing involving minions, and I'll just leave it at that. Annoying. Terrible, did not laugh at that at all. And the sorority is just really dumb. Like in the first movie, I could actually buy why no one else complained about the fraternity, because they actually helped out the other neighbors, like assisted them with stuff, made friends. In this one, the sorority, they didn't do anything for them. However, later on in the movie, when they trick Seth Rogen into going to Australia and make Rose Byrne extremely worried about him because he's been gone, they break into their house and sell all their stuff. And all the neighbors didn't do anything about that. Why? Why didn't they do anything? Also, two things returning from the last movie kind of annoyed me. The cop from the first one, who I didn't get that many laughs from, he came back for one scene. One scene, thank God, because if he was in more of it, I probably would have hated it. The thing they did, just... no, not funny. And Lisa Kudrow, her gag in the first movie was that she was doing pretty much the opposite of what someone would do in her position. And in this one, she returns for one scene and does the same exact thing. Oh, if I shut down this independent sorority, then there's going to be headlines about a sexist dean shutting down sorority, which doesn't make any sense because you're a woman and a sorority is pretty much girl fraternity. So sexist woman dean shutting down sorority. that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Also, I can say the finale of this movie was really disappointing, where in the first one, a lot of things were actually happening that had me interested and made me laugh. In this one, it was funny, but nothing really happened. Like, stuff began to happen, and then it kind of just started to wrap up, and I was like, oh, did they run out of money in the budget or something? Look, guys, Neighbors 2 is not gonna blow you away. It's not the best comedy of the year. That is definitely The Nice Guys or Popstar or Deadpool. But look, it's a fun movie. If you enjoyed the first Neighbors 2, you will definitely enjoy Neighbors 2 Sorority Rising. You will have fun with this movie. I had fun with this film. However, if you're not a fan of the first Neighbors, stay away because you will hate this film. I'm gonna give Neighbors 2 Sorority Rising a B. It's definitely better than most comedy sequels that come out lately. However, is it perfect or almost as good as the first one? Not really. However, if you saw Neighbors 2 Sorority Rising, which you might have because this is kind of a late review, leave in the comments below what you thought of it. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher, and The Legend of Zelda is called Breath of the Wild, and it looks incredible. Oh my god, guys, it's gonna be awesome. See you guys next time.